Hello and welcome to today's YouTube video. Now in today's YouTube video we're going to take a look at the news which is going to affect the market. I'm going to look at the international news which will affect the market plus the domestic news which will affect the market. Apart from that, we're going to take a look at the Nifty Midcap since it has its expiry tomorrow, and that will be part of our usual pre-market videos like we do, which cover expiry indexes. After that, we're going to take a look at HDFC Bank and TCS. Now, before we go into those stocks, let's take a look at the news. Now, I'll cover the news on the international front first. This is as it is simply more significant as of now. Now, the expectations of the Federal Reserve rate cut have increased significantly for September. This inflation has slowed down. The jobs report, which was released on Friday, was weak. So that all signals that yes, the Fed will most likely be giving a rate cut. And in fact, to fuel the fire more, over the weekend, the Federal Reserve Chair Powell and San Francisco's Fed President Mary Daly also supported potential rate cuts. So September is most likely going to be a rate cut scenario, and that will benefit to global markets, which will help us also. Moreover, this week on Monday, China will be releasing its second quarter GDP data, and that is very important and it's something most people will watch. Additionally, the Chinese President Xi Jinping will convene senior party officials for a closed-door conclave, which is also known as the third plenum, and this will result in significant economic reforms. And on Thursday is when they'll announce the results of the reforms. So this is something which people trading markets in Asia will watch a lot, as it will affect the continent as a whole, as China is a power and it will play a large role. Moreover, on Tuesday, several pieces of US data will come out which will affect their markets, which in turn will affect ours. But the one to watch, according to me, is the retail sales data, as the others will not be of much importance. But the retail sales data will again, if it comes within the expectations, then again it will solidify the rate cuts in September. On Friday, ECB's European Central Bank's policy meeting outcome will be watched. People are expecting them to keep the rates unchanged, so it will end up, if it is that, then it will end up being a non-event. Now coming to the local front, on Monday, tomorrow basically, the Commerce Ministry will release the wholesale price index for June, so that is something people will really watch. And another thing, for those trading F&O, future and options in the Indian market, this Wednesday the market is closed. So do adjust your trades based on that. This is as that will bring in a lot of earlier decay in options and bring in a bit more volatility. Volatility will be good, as we have been stuck in a box range and we do need volatility desperately. Then on Friday, the RBI will also announce the forex reserves. So that is all that is there really on the local news front. And another thing, tomorrow Geo Financial Services will be releasing the results, and that is one result which a lot of people will be watching. So that's basically the news which is going to affect the Indian market, according to me, this week. So now let's take a look at the stocks and the index which I had said. We'll start with Tata Consultancy Services, then go to HDFC Bank, then go to the Nifty Midcap. Now when we come to TCS, I have popped on the levels. Now TCS had a very big rise on Friday, and those people who are using my indicators and will understand why it had that. So now should you trade ahead? Now according to me, let's drop to a 3-hour chart so I can explain it in a better manner. Now I'm looking at it in terms of one thing. Number one, if TCS is able to clear 4,200, then the high likelihood of us going until 4,280 and 4,320. That I believe will be most likely like a top if we go above this. But by chance we break that, then 4,400. On the other hand, if TCS is not able to clear 4,200 tomorrow, then I expect it to trade within a box range between 4,100 and 4,200. It will use this support between 4,100 and 4,120, and it will form a box range in this top area. And traders should only consider shorting TCS or going long once we either break here or we break here. So how I will trade it again, if we break 4,200, I'm going long until 4,280 to 4,320. After that I'm cashing out. I most likely will not wait for 4,400, as that will be hoping for a lot. If you've caught this move, better to take your profits and run. I will actually end up starting looking for CE cells within the zone. On the other hand, if you're not able to break 4200, then I will basically just wait for it to trade within this range of 4100 to 4200, decide the market direction, the stock direction, and if it breaks 4100, then is when I'll be going for a short, first to the support at 4000 to 4020, and if that breaks, then 3880 to 3900. Now, those who have been watching my pre-market videos for long know that whenever cluster supports come, they really come significant, and this time 3 clusters are formed, so each is going to be a very significant level, but do not go long until 4200 breaks, or do not go short until 4100 breaks in a positional time frame, as it will not work out. So that's it for TCS. Now we're going to take a look at HDFC Bank. Now HDFC Bank, those who have been watching my YouTube videos know we managed to catch the short from the top. This is when we basically had reached this point. Let me get the highlight out. When we had reached this point, I had said that basically we're going to have one last move, and I had given a target of basically 1780 to 1796. We went there, formed the top exactly within the target, after which I had said once we reach this, it's time to short, and I gave target. I literally made every day videos on HDFC in which we went and hit each level, and then now have come and rested the final support I had given, which is the major one, was 1600. We have managed to hold 1600 and have been trading at it. So now, how should you trade HDFC going ahead? Now there's a lot of talk going on about the issue about pledging. That will the big stocks benefit from pledging? So this is a lot of people who had pledged basically the nearly 1,000 stocks in the thing have been greatly reduced. So people are expecting a lot of their money to come to big names, and so now that alters the dynamics a bit, because that money is coming in just for the sake of pledging. However, if we look at it simply from a technical standpoint, we don't bother with that news and just look at what the chart can do, rather than try to rely on rumors and hope. As long as HDFC Bank trades between 1645 and 1600, it's no man's land. No one's going to win. Neither the bulls are going to win, neither the bears are going to win. This is a range which we're just going to keep getting V-shaped moves as we've been getting. However, if we break 1645, then we'll be having a quick rise, according to me, to 1680 to 1690. This is going to be a very important resistance, as it basically will determine the chart structure. Like when those people who watched my videos when we shorted HDFC Bank, I was saying the chart structure is altered. That's why we're going to fall until basically 1600, and that's how it happens. So this is the same. If you break 1680 to 1690, that chart structure will change, and that will give us a move until 1715 and 1750. Once we reach either this zone or any of these, then I'll cover HDFC Bank again. Moreover, on the other hand, if we break 1600, then we will go to 1545 to 1560, which is a very important long-term support for the stock. And it's not a long-term support in terms of simple. It's all the supports which I'm giving are quant support, so they're calculated in a different way. That's why they work so well, and that is a very important support. So if we break this, then I only believe people will have a quick short until here, as we'll again end up forming a box range. So again, a recap for HDFC Bank. Between 1645 and 1600, you're not going to get any clean move. It's a V-shaped area, and everybody's going to get smashed on one side or the other. Once we break one of these sides, that's when the bigger move will come. 1645 will take us to 1690 to 1680, which is a very important resistance zone. Break that, then above that. On the other hand, we break 1600, then we'll come down to 1545 to 1560, and then hold that zone. So there's not much room on both sides for HDFC Bank, whichever side it chooses. There's basically, I would say, a few percentage points on each side that HDFC Bank can go if it breaks out of this range. Beyond that, it will not, as of now. Once we reach any of these levels, I shall make a fresh video on HDFC Bank. Now we'll take a look at the Nifty Midcap Index. Now, a lot who watched last Sunday's video, in which I had again covered the Nifty Midcap Index, will see that a lot of the levels are similar to what it was last week. This is, we haven't really moved. So how will I trade this expiry? Now, Nifty Midcap, I'm taking a look at this expiry, which an analysis will maximum go for, let's say, 1-2 days more, unless we stay in the same range. Now, I believe 12,400 is a very important support for the Nifty Midcap, and as long as that holds, the index will basically keep forming a box range between 12,400 to 12,560. Why I'm highlighting this whole zone? This is, any up move here will also come back down. It will, so this whole zone between 12,400 and 12,560 is going to be a big box range for the, not a big box range technically when you look at it's a 12,000 rupee index, and let's say 120 to 140 points is a very small amount on it. So within this box range, I expect V-shaped moves, and we will only get a bigger move if we break out above this or we break out below this. This is, as I said, this range is been keeping the index at bay, and in fact is also a lot of the levels are the same which I had covered last week. So now, how will I trade it as an option buyer, and how will I trade it as an option seller? Now, as an option seller, if we continue hovering within, we are not able to take out Friday's high, and we keep hovering with this range, then I will sell calls of 12,520 to 12,560, but I will sell them very cautiously. In fact, tomorrow is one of the few expiries of Nifty Midcap in which I will participate in a very low volume. So let's say if I was putting $100 in, tomorrow I'll only put $10. This is it can break on either side very violently right now. I said it breaks 12,400, then we can reach 12,280 pretty fast. It breaks 12,520 to 12,560, we'll reach these zones pretty fast. So it's something that you have to be very cautious about. So according to me, option sellers have to sell both C's and P's tomorrow. They have to be on both sides and keep a tight profit stop. This is, any spike comes, you should be out. Why I'm saying profit stop rather than a loss stop? Because due to it being expiry, decay will start kicking in very quickly from once you enter. Unless you enter at a very wrong point, you should be in a profit initially already. So keep that profit stop to ensure that those gains are locked, as you can always re-enter, as the brokerage is not that high. Only the tax part of it is a bit of a pain. So now, as an option seller, above 12,560, the safe sellers can sell, and 12,520 for very high risk sellers. On the P sell side, I would say only below 12,340 for the risk, higher risk sellers, and below 12,280 for the lower risk sellers. So lower risk P option sellers, 12,560 and 12,280 and below, and higher risk 12,340 and 12,520. That's how I'm going to play it. I will determine my risk quotient depending on how we open and how the first, let's say, 10-15 minutes of the index mid cap plus the others perform. Option buying side, if we manage to basically break this zone, then is a long until here. This most likely will be the top. I don't believe we can go until here. So if we go until here, this will give option sellers a fresh chance to sell literally 12,560 and above fresh, and let the decay come in, and it will come back towards this zone, and that decay will end up putting those options back to zero. On the other hand, if we break 12,400 as an option buyer, first target is 12,340, that breaks 12,280. 12,280 is another very strong support, so this support to watch, this support to watch, and then this support to watch. Resistance, this one to watch, then and this one to watch. These are the supports and resistance you have to watch, and that's what you have to do as an option buyer and as an option seller. So that's it for today's video. If you liked it, then hit that like button and also subscribe to the channel. Thank you.